May marked the 10th anniversary of one of the most iconic moments in off-road history in Utah. On May 14, 2014, local citizens gathered in Blanding, Utah, to protest an emergency closure of a riding area that was only supposed to last a few months, but remained closed for 7 years. A first-term county commissioner from San Juan County led that ride, which started at a gate just 3 miles from Blanding and ended up in a Salt Lake federal court 300 miles away. The famous ride in Recapture was not the beginning of a struggle for land access between the locals and the BLM. Rather, it was the pinnacle of a struggle that started years before.
About 2005, Blanding decided they wanted to make a UTV loop trail that went down through Recapture. It's the old historic road, the Pioneer Road, and so when you do that, you make an application with the BLM, they put it in the Federal Register, and that was the whistle blowing to the environmentalists to come and try to stop this from happening. So rather than coming and having a logical discussion, they came in and started accusing people of illegally constructing a road.
In anticipation of the trail system, Dustin Felset and Ken Brown donated time to clear brush and fortify rough spots along the old highway that they had ridden most of their lives. What they thought was a community service was interpreted by the BLM as a criminal enterprise. They were charged and fined for road building without a permit, despite the road in question being the oldest publicly funded road in San Juan County. The conviction and fine levied on members of the community, amplified by a heavy-handed raid on dozens of citizens accused of pilfering artifacts in 2009, became a community flashpoint. Blanding felt ignored and injured by the heavy hand of the federal government.
I love the Thomas Paine quote when he was talking about America, and he said, "It's not a field of a few acres, but a cause that we're defending." It was never about recapture. It was never about a trail. It was about a cause. It was about the people that live in the area. Are we entitled to peaceful enjoyment of the community that we live in, that we settled, that we were raised in? And the answer is, yeah, we are entitled to that.
Most of us, even those who were familiar with the protest at the time, didn't fully understand the true basis of the rift, as Mike Swenson of USAL recognized on the day of the ride in 2014.
Now, this group of people are trying to open up a road. That's the misperception. This issue is so much bigger than a four-wheeler or a road or cows in Nevada. The issue is really about jurisdiction and control. Who has the right to control the land in the western United States?
As is often the case, when the dust of an issue settles, the off-road community shakes it off and moves on. Such was the case back in 2014.
It's frustrating, actually. There has been an ebb and flow where the public seems interested in the issues, they take courageous actions, pat themselves on the back, and then forget about it for a few years.
The battlefields have seemed quiet since the ride in Recapture, but in the last year, the BLM has seemed to take the gloves off on further proposed restrictions on off-road use and camping availability. And it's not just the BLM, but all federal agencies are rushing new plans to be in place by the year's end, which in the most restrictive proposals could close thousands of miles of trails, eliminate 80% of dispersed camping on public land, and remove most grazing across millions of acres of Utah's cherished public places.
They're disregarding comment periods, they're disregarding all the due process, the coordination requirements, and they're just closing massive areas in Kane County, in Emery County, in Grand County, in Uinta County, in Idaho, in Montana. Everywhere you go, they're dealing with these unilateral decisions to close hundreds and hundreds of miles of trail that's been accessible.
Be loud and legal is the call coming from organizations like the Blue Ribbon Coalition, which has been steadfast in inserting themselves into the process. But at this point, it might take more than just writing letters and making comments.
My advice to people who are experiencing these things themselves is to get understanding. Recognize that in America, they are the sovereign. This is a government by the people. It is from the bottom up, not from the top down. If you have county commissioners that think that they get all their power from the governor, get rid of those commissioners and let them know that we want commissioners who tell the governor what to do. If you've got a governor who thinks he gets his authority from the federal government, get rid of that governor and get a governor who tells the federal government what to do.
One thing that is certain, the actions we have taken in the past as a recreation community will not be enough with the speed with which our future use will be decided. Put simply, get more involved than you ever have. For At Your Leisure, I'm Chad Booth.